How you doing there? Hey, how are you? Hello and just welcome to Manifesting Napoleon Hill. My name is Beverly Fells Jones and I am the Silver Fox of Consciousness, and today I was trying to decide what I was going to talk about today, and a lot of things came to mind, but I'm going to talk about what came up when I was studying. I always like to refer to it as studying or preparing for the first class of the Think and Grow Rich Masterclass that I recently started. New one's coming up in September, by the way, of 2020. Anyway, so as I was going through it, it was like, oh, so I have a copy of Think and Grow Rich on my Nook, PDF format. Love my Nook. Talked about it in the last video. Anyway, got a copy there, and that's one form. That copy I printed out. It's in a 3 and 8.5 by 11 binder. By the way, this is Moses. So I don't have a dog. I don't have a cat. I don't have a bird. I don't have farm animals. I have Moses. Anyway, so Moses will be with us for a little bit. Anyway, so I was going through it, and this brilliant, it just dawned on me. It's like, this happens all the time for me when I'm studying, and it should happen for you a lot of times when you're going through and studying things. So I'm going through, and so that's what I'm going to tell you about today, because I used this copy when I was just around. I said, well, let me pull this one out and see what I can see that's different than in other ones. So we're going to talk about what I discovered for chapter one of Think and Grow Rich. They're all the same. The words in the chapter are the same, but there's a little bit of difference when I looked at this book versus my PDF version or versus the hard copy version that I had seen. So let's get started. Okay, welcome back. I'm going to take Moses and put him over on the other director's chair. This is my audience. My audience I can see. Anyway, okay, so I got this version of Think and Grow Rich, and we're in chapter 1. And I decide to look at the table of contents. Oops. I lost my mic. And my hairpin. I lost the clip for my mic. And one of the things I did notice on some videos, how the sound sounded like they were, fix this up, sounded like they were in a tunnel. And I had noticed that I had done that before. Okay? Hopefully that. And if I rustled, I'm sorry. Okay. Sound like I was in a tunnel. And when I looked at my other camera, I said, is there a way for external mic? No. Only way it was on the phone. I didn't want to do my phone all the time. And when I finally got this camera, it had an external mic. And so I tried an external mic. It wouldn't work. Had to get an external mic that had a battery, had its own power, because it didn't run from the power on the camera. Anyway, I'm off topic. Let me get back here. All right, table of contents, chapter 1. Chapter 1 is Thoughts Are Things. And the title was The Man Who Thought His Way into Partnership with Thomas Edison. Now, that was Edwin Barnes, and I've talked about Edwin Barnes in a previous video. So go to the playlist for Napoleon Hill, and you'll see the Edwin Barnes one. And I went back and checked, and he really was, a person that existed. And I looked at that. But when I looked at the table of contents, it listed the other stories in chapter 1. You go, okay, so chapter 1's full of stories. Yeah, it is. And sometimes we'll get in a book, or we'll get into a self-help book or other kind of book, and the person is telling a story or something that happened to them, or something happened to their client. I'll tell you some things that happened with my clients, or like now, telling you what happened as I was preparing for the first session of the Think and Grow Rich Masterclass. And I looked at this, and here's what I saw. The Inventor and the Tramp. That is the story of Edwin C. Barnes. Sly Disguises of Opportunity. 3 Feet from Goal. I Will Never Stop Because Men Say No. A 50-cent lesson in persistence. The Strange Power of a Child. One idea is all you need. The Impossible Ford V8 Motor. Why You Are the Master of Your Fate. Principles that can change your destiny. So those were all the subtitles that are in chapter 1. And I went, oh my goodness. So when you read these stories, each of these stories correlate with one of the chapters in the book. There's a chapter on persistence. There's the chapter on faith, and having the faith to go through and access things. The impossible, the V8 Ford engine. Each of these stories relates to a chapter. And so as we read these stories and we're going through the masterclass, I'm going to refer back to the story and how it relates to that chapter. So here's one. The story of 3 Feet from Gold. And I'm not going to read you the 3 Feet from Gold, but just think about this. He says, one of the most common causes of failure is the habit of quitting when one is overtaken by temporary defeat. Every person is guilty of this mistake at one time or another. With what's going on in the world today with this virus, and people are out of work, or people, they're essential people, they're non-essential people, there are people who are selling things, having yard sales because they don't have the money to pay their mortgage or their rent. They haven't, United States stimulus money, it might not be enough to help stave off your mortgage. Now, people can get help in that area, but I'm not going to go into that. All right. But think about stopping when things get tough, or you don't know where you're going or what you're going to do. Temporary defeat, somebody told you no, you lost your funding. I don't know, whatever it is, if it's something that you truly, absolutely know is good and is your desire, the universe, spirit, will help you find a way if you don't quit. So 3 Feet from Gold should tell you about, the title should tell you about stopping when you feel defeat, right? So don't stop. There are times, yes, I've talked about in the past about there are times when you got to give up. I mean, there are times when you look at it and you have found no way around it. But I tell you, don't give up. Just put it on the side burner for a little while. And, let your subconscious talk to the universal mind. And eventually something will percolate up to the top. Right? The story of the child who wouldn't go away until this man gave her the 50 cents. I mean, I can imagine like a 2-year-old. I want that. I want that. This is mine. Why? Why are you telling me no? Remember asking why? Why? It used to drive me up a tree. I probably did the same thing with my parents. But he talks about the power of a child. Scripture talks about becoming as a little child. When you're ready to, when you want something or you believe in something. And becoming as a child is persistent, always asking why, trying it and not being afraid. There's a lot of things with a child. No preconceived notions. None. Go for it. So he goes on in this book, and I'm still in chapter 1. And this is what I'm going to leave you with. So today is going to be a really short video. But I'm going to leave you with this one thing before I go. Because this is the essence of Think and Grow Rich. A book that was written, it was written during this time, but it was published in the middle of the Great Depression, further in. Stock market crashed in 1929, and then we got this in 1937. In 1927, he wrote the 16 Laws of Success, which he condensed in this book. All right. So understand, these ideas are still valid today. What he taught in this book, what I teach in the masterclass, and expand on what's in this book and bring it into today as relevant with what's going on today and the technology we have. And just think about the fact that we have the internet now. People are doing YouTube videos. People are using Zoom and GoToMeeting and free conference calling and Google Meets or whatever. But people are able to work from home. I'm able to get to you. Years ago, 80s, 90s, I couldn't get to you without spending thousands and thousands of dollars in advertising and TV and all of that. And I can get to you through the power of video and a platform that allows me to upload this for free. I mean, wow. Okay. I lost this again. So let me hold it in my hand. So it allows me to get to you for free. I couldn't do that years ago. So just think about what you can do to reach an audience of the people that you want to do. Yeah, hopefully we'll have farmers markets again this year. I'm going to make use of my baking and cooking skills because I just love baking bread. And thankfully we're not gaining weight. In fact, I lost 3 pounds. Isn't that awesome? Anyway, but there's ways for you to become who you want to be. Last video was, I can be what I will to be. Whatever man can conceive and believe, he can achieve. And Napoleon had said this in chapter 1. This book is packed with information. The object of this book is to help all who seek it to learn the art. Okay. The object of this book for all who seek it is to learn the art of changing their minds from failure consciousness to success consciousness. You can do that. You can be successful in whatever you set out your mind to be. You can be what you will to be. My name is Beverly Fells Jones. I am the Silver Fox of Consciousness. And if you have not subscribed, please subscribe and hit the bell. Share this video with anyone that you think would be inspired by watching it. And I am grateful to be here and to be able to share this information with you. So, take care, be safe, and I'll see you in the next video.